Dallas Cowboys rookies and young players will suit up for the first preseason game of the year on Saturday. I know a lot of people don't really enjoy the preseason. It's not really interesting football, starters aren't out there trying to win, and with some of that I have to agree. But for the most part, I like the preseason. I want to see the young guys perform, make a name for themselves, and find a way to get on this 53-man roster. And that's what I'm hoping for on Saturday when the defense takes on Jacksonville. So let's get a Dallas defensive preview before week 1 of the preseason kicks off. Like we talked about with the offensive starters, a lot of veteran guys are probably not going to see the field or even dress for the Cowboys in this game. DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons are guys across that line that I don't expect to see in this game. They could play, I'm not the coaches, but in my opinion, they shouldn't see the field at all this preseason. One of the more interesting camp battles that we haven't really talked about on this channel is the defensive tackle spot. The Cowboys drafted Mazi Smith in the first round just a couple of months ago. The main reason for that selection was because of the lack of impact that they were getting from the defensive tackles. Guys like Neville Gallimore, who was a 3rd round pick in his own right, Quinton Bohanna, who was a 6th round pick, just weren't getting the job done. Mazi, Gallimore, Bohanna, Golston, and Osa Odigizua are all guys that are a part of a crowded defensive line room. I'm interested to see how Bohanna and Gallimore look, because to me, those are two guys that are on the fringe of making this team. This preseason, especially this game and the ones to come, could make or break them making this 53-man roster. So those are two guys that I'm going to be keeping a heavy eye on in week 1. On the end of the defensive line is where it gets interesting as well, because the Cowboys edge rushers are insanely deep right now. Dorrance Armstrong and Sam Williams are backups behind Lawrence and Parsons, but those two could probably compete for starting reps on half of the teams around the league. Behind them, you have veterans like Dante Fowler, and then undrafted guys like Isaiah Land. There's just a lot of talent across this entire defensive line. It's going to be one of the stronger units on the Cowboys this year, so a lot of the guys that we do see playing might not make this team, but there are still a few spots left up for grabs across the defensive line, and I can't wait to watch the competition on Saturday. One group that I have continuously talked about on this channel as a worry for me has been the linebacker spot. I think there's a lot of inexperience there. Behind Leighton Vander Esch, you don't have a lot of legitimate NFL snaps. So in that case, I want to see all of those guys get snaps in this first preseason game. Damone Clark, Jabril Cox, DeMarvion Overshown, and Malik Jefferson. All of these guys I would expect to see some sort of action on Saturday. Some more than others. I'm not sure if we'll see LVE or not, but he's a proven vet, so we kind of know what to expect in that department. As for the younger guys, I want to see how they hold up in the run game, how their speed looks, especially with Cox and Overshown. Out of this group, I'm most excited to watch DeMarvion Overshown take the field, because I think with his athleticism, he's going to stand out the most amongst this group. For him in this game, it's going to be about the mental part. Being in the right spot, providing run support, covering tight ends, knowing his job every single play. And I hope that they ask him to do it all. I really hope that we see Overshown a ton on Saturday. Before we continue talking about this defense, I have to tell you guys about the best daily fantasy sports app called PrizePicks. PrizePicks is a daily fantasy sports app that you can play in states like Texas, California, and more. You'll love PrizePicks because it gives you a way to win money watching the sport you love. All you have to do is pick if a player will go for more or less than their PrizePick projection, and you could 25 times your money. Just look at these picks people have made from all over the country. The best part is when you sign up with code DoubleMove, PrizePicks will match your first deposit. You deposit $50, PrizePicks will give you $50. I play PrizePicks every single week of the NFL season, and I'm going to be posting all of my picks on my Instagram. It'll be linked down below. If you want to start playing and you want a 100% deposit match, go to the link down below and use my code DoubleMove when you sign up. So don't miss this insane opportunity before the NFL season kicks off in September. I'll see you guys on PrizePicks. And thank you to them for sponsoring this video. Stephon Gilmore and Trayvon Diggs are certainly not playing in this game, but behind that, I think it's a possibility that we see Deron Bland, along with all of the other young Cowboys like Nahshon Wright, Kelvin Joseph, and Eric Scott Jr. With the cornerback room, I am interested in two storylines heading into this game. This is a make it or break it for Kelvin Joseph. He is going to have to do something worth keeping on this team. In past preseasons, he's been cooked by opposing teams, almost like they know to target him. And here's the unfortunate thing about Kelvin Joseph. Sometimes he's in the right spot. He's there to make a play on the ball. He just can't seem to do it. And that just seems like how his career has gone so far. I say it's make it or break it for Joseph, but he could play bad and still make this team because of the Jordan Lewis injury and the Cowboys needing depth, special teams, etc., etc. But I'm sure the team needs Kelvin Joseph to really prove why he shouldn't get cut. And then my second storyline is Eric Scott Jr. We've all heard good things about him coming out of camp. The hype from his OTA practices have held up to what we've seen so far. He's a young corner. Of course, he's going to get beat by guys like CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, and Gallup. But overall in camp, he has looked like he wants to compete. He wants to stick his nose in there. He looks like an NFL cornerback, and that's what I want to see from him on Saturday. I didn't really go into depth, but I do want to see Nahshon Wright play well too. He's had a pretty good camp so far when Trayvon Diggs was missing time. Nahshon Wright was stepping up to the plate and having good practices. I want to see this carry over into the game on Saturday. Overall, the cornerback room is an exciting bunch, even without Diggs and Gilmore on the field. A lot of young guys with a lot to prove to the organization. Last but certainly not least, we have the safeties, a group that will surely be without Donovan Wilson after he suffered an injury. We might see Jaron Kearse for a series or two in this game, but I'm not really interested in the starters. We know what to expect. I'm excited to watch Marquise Bell, Wanye Thomas, Tyler Coyle, and Israel Mukuamu. Wanye Thomas has gotten rave reviews throughout camp. Israel Mukuamu was your Swiss Army knife on the back end of that defense last year. And each of these guys have had their moments as players for the Cowboys, whether that be in camp, in the regular season, or on special teams. They're all fighting for the last few spots in that safety room. I have a particular interest in Mukuamu because I think the dude has potential to be a key piece in the defensive backfield, and I really hope he shows out in the preseason. And that concludes our defensive preview for the Cowboys in Week 1. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And go Cowboys.